we are going to start the last key presentations. I have already asked the presenters to be strictly brief, so I'm gonna restrict the time, and I advise you, you have 15 minutes each.
15.
But for the respect of the public and respect of the interpreters, are gonna be strict with the time. But I also promise you very exciting presentations with very, very, very interesting topics. We are going to start with our first speaker, Daniel Millán, who he has born in Jaén, where he's already married in this sector, but he has not stayed here. He has been, he went first to Alcalá to study business administration, and then to maybe most of the most prestigious universities of business, like the IES, el MIT in Boston, and then he developed his career, international career, in different companies until he found his own company, Elia Site, which you may already know because they are providing solutions to the olive sector, and he's going to speak today about a very interesting initiative, which is the extra virgin olive oil plastic free. So Daniel, please, you have
Thank
the
you
floor.
very much. Can you hear me? Yes, correctly. So thanks a lot for giving me the chance to introduce our initiative. My name is Daniel Millán. I am one of the persons liable of Evo Plastic Free. Evo Plastic Free is a non-profitable association. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we have slowed down our activity, but we hope that in the following months we are going to start again. So my idea with our presentation is to make a phrase. When Jaime wrote to me, he said, "Daniel, it's the last time, please." So I'm going to try. So imagine this new in the newspaper. So that could happen. I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen. But we should be worried about this if we are not ready for facing this time, you know? Obviously, this is a fake news, but there is another news that is in the newspaper that they are announcing as the new time. For example, in this Tesco's trial, loose fruit and vegetable in bid to reduce plastic, or Aldi have the purpose that in 2025, the 100% of the Aldi packaging, including plastic packaging, will have reusable, recyclable, or compostable packaging. Of course, all these things made us think what we could do, but what we could do together. So the main purpose of our association is to join the sector, to try to be between sectors and researchers, and to impulse the new solutions. So, because this is our reality, you know. According to the European directive, there is an analysis that the 80 to 85% of the marine litter measure of the beach litter counts is plastic, with single-use plastics item representing the 50%, the single-use plastic products covered by measures under the directive are estimated to represent around the 86% of the single-use plastic found. That is our scenario. And we wonder, is our sector ready to face the new time? Well, the answer is not easy because it's a very complicated sector, as we know. We are farmers, mainly. Of course, the sector is wider, but it's not easy to face the new time. In the aims or our association is to exposure and to take aware about the new world and the sector reality which needs sustainable models. Also, we have the goal to find the different current technical solution for the sector. Our activity, or we are focused in support, to stand, develop solutions and projects for the new time, for the new situation of the market that needs sustainable solutions, and we need to go towards the circular economy. You know, there is a market research that say that 76% of the sets generations is worried about the human impact in the planet. In Spain, there is a business school, EAE Business School. They made a market research, and the results of their market research gave us that the 20%, this is only in Spain, but Spain is one of the main markets in the olive oil sectors. 20% of the young people under than 20 years, 20% has, or no, the consumption of the olive oil of young population has reduced in 20%. 20%. We cannot miss this generation, so we have to do something. We need to do something. There is another market research that is done by Andalusian government, and Kantar is a company, which say that is the key aspect which are not satisfied by the olive oil sector. The main, according to the demand, the consumers, is the plastic packaging. The second is the price, and the third is the label. It's really complicated to understand the label of the olive oil. So that should make us to think about it. Also, we were speaking with the sector. I remember one conversation with one person in the Pomace olive oil sector. Say, well, guys, this is not my problem. Maybe for all extra virgin olive oil. And we can see in the same market research that is not only a problem in the extra virgin olive oil. All the olive oil has the same problem. Packaging, for example. We started worried in the packaging materials, how we can have sustainable materials. So it's in the whole sector the problem. So that is what we thought about it, and we say, okay, guys, maybe one by one it's impossible to face it, but why we don't collaborate? We join and we go forward to the new solution, and we transfer. This initiative has been created from the sector, not from the government, not for, of course, we are collaborating with the universities. The main institution, the University of Jaén, but that has been born from the companies. So the idea is to do practical solution and transfer to the company, to the companies and to the market, because, well, you know perfectly, in Jaén mainly we have a huge problem with the traditional olive growth. You know, we have to increase the productivity. Also, we have to compete with a super intensive and intensive growth. So it's not easy question. So we are worried about it. So we can, on one hand, to take out all the trees here, tradition, or we can try to increase our demands. Of course, olive oil is a fat, and it's only the 3% of the fat in the world, the consumption of fat. So why we cannot send to the launch to the market a message? Okay, we are worried about sustainability. We are going to do something to get better brand awareness. So our role is not only to develop solutions, it's also to communicate to the market. So we also know that the reputation sometimes of olive oil has problem. You know, in the campaign, in the news, we see that there is a problem in the retailer. So we have to work on it as well. We have to make the consumers know that we are worried about the sustainability, and we think that we can increase the consumption, and when we increase the consumptions, of course, we can keep our traditional growth as well. This is one of our purpose as well. And the new regulation, we know that mainly in Europe, there is a new regulation, a standard about, you know, the materials, plastics, sustainability. So that is what we have to do. We have no chance. So why we cannot do it before that another fat sector? This is what we propose, and we want to do it together, because farmer by farmer is very complicated. So this is what we are doing in our initiative. I hope that it hasn't been very boring, so I try to do it fresh. And of course, we need as well your support to do it together. I hope that this symposium is going to be a breakthrough in the sector. I hope so. And I hope you are going to enjoy the symposium. Thank you very much for presentations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Daniel, for bringing the attention to this hot topic as well, the plastic-free initiative. We are going to escape the questions until the end of the presentations, and then we will leave the time for questions. So let me introduce you the next speaker, José Eugenio Gutiérrez Ureña. He's a biologist. He's always the territorial delegate of SEO BirdLife in Andalucía, and is responsible for a very interesting project, which is Olivares Vivos, live olive grove or something like that. We can translate. And well, he's also a researcher in the University of Jaén. He has more than 100 scientific publications and divulgatory articles. He's coordinating courses. He's also a consultant for both public and private bodies. But his main topic, his permanent topic, has been always. There is some, but I think it's a micro of one of the interpreters.
Yes, I think so.
Yes. The topic he's been constantly is biodiversity, and in particular the relation of biodiversity with agricultural ecosystems, or I would say agri-food systems, because it's going beyond the farmers to the whole chain until the consumers, to study how can we improve, how can we enhance those agricultural systems that are contributing to maintain or enlarge biodiversity. So please, José Eugenio, you have your word and your 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Bueno, buenas tardes. Mi inglés es muy malo y voy a dar la charla en español. En primer lugar, quería agradecer a los organizadores de este simposio la invitación y, por supuesto,
Eugenio, thank you very much for this very good presentation. It went a little bit longer than expected, but it was worth it. because I think it is a very, very interesting initiative. It's a great success that we've seen in the first edition, very welcomed by farmers who are knocking the door to join the initiative and also to extend from Andalusia to the to the other parts in the European Union and maybe in other parts of the world. And that's why this second phase was presented in the International Olive Council headquarters 2 weeks ago, and we can count with us to accompany in this journey. Because if you haven't done yet, I really encourage you to visit one of those olivares vivos, olive grove life, because you can feel the life, and it's a really pleasure to see on the ground the results, and also with this holistic approach to look at profitability, biodiversity. So congratulations for the initiative, and thank you for sharing with us. And now it's time to move to our last speaker, Roberto García. He is full professor of ecology at the University of Jaén. He's also the coordinator of the functional unit of ecology in the Institute of Advanced Studies in Olive Groves. He has a long research activity, to summarize, mainly in the area of biochemistry and ecology, with more than 69 articles in high-index scientific magazines, more than 25 contributions or books, and he's a permanent member of the EG Top Group in the European Commission of DG Agri, and he's going to talk us about sustained olive, which is basically about sustainability in olive cultivation in the Mediterranean area. So thank you very much, Roberto. You have the floor.
Thank you to you, and thanks to the organizer to invite me to introduce what Sustain Olive is about. Sustain Olive, novel approaches to promote the sustainability of the olive oil cultivation in the Mediterranean. Basically, the main objective of this 4-year PRIMA Age 2020 project is to promote, to contribute the ecological transition of the olive oil sector through knowledge co-creation, co-design, to implement, to monitoring, to demonstrate, to training, promotion, and to disseminate.
Sorry,
what?
I think you can maybe just for... I appreciate you...
Hola, ¿vete?
Sí, mejor.
Mejor.
Con la máscara se...
Okay. Oh, yes, sorry.
Puedes quitártela. Mejor.
Okay.
Thank you.
You will give me one more minute, right?
Yes. I give you two.
Okay. So I was telling that the objective of this 4-year project is to contribute and to promote the ecological transition of the olive oil sector through knowledge co-creation, co-design, to implement, monitoring, demonstration, training, dissemination, and promotion of what? Of different sets of combination of management practices which are locally adapted to the socio-economical and technical circumstances of the Mediterranean territory, which are based on farmer knowledge and on agroecological concept and method. This is basically the objective of Sustain Olive. The set of combination of management practices locally adapted, some of which are below in the slide, are designing so that the olive oil cultivation provide a wide range of ecosystem services apart from the productive one. This is a complex consortium, and Sustain Olive consists of 8 universities, 4 research centers, 1 dissemination and communication company, and more importantly, 9 olive grove associations of Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, Morocco, and Tunisia. Here you can find some of the partners the partners of Spain and Portugal. And also I would like to mention that we do have a network of collaboration entity. They are providing us useful socioeconomic and management information, and they are also facilitating us the sampling and also the dissemination of the main outcomes of Sustainolive. Here you will find the partners from Greece, and from Italy, from Morocco, and from Tunisia. The first group of activities in Sustainolive was designing to identify the best set of combination of management practices, which I insist they are locally adapted to the socioeconomic and technical circumstances in each of the countries. And what we did was basically to provide a deep synopsis on how the olive oil was cultivating in each of the participant countries. We have done a SWOT analysis in each of the participant countries, and we did a survey to 600 farmers, olive farmers, from the participant country, generating a database of about 60,000 inputs, data, and after very long month, finally, we have already finished the processing of all this information, and shortly all the results and the database will be available for all of you, obviously without any kind of personal data, because of the data protection issue in our web page. Once we identify the most convenient set of combination of sustainable management practices, then we set up a network of Sustainolive olive growth, what we call living labs, that consists of 88 olive farms across the participant countries. But the 88 olive farms are distributed in pairs. So one of the members of each pair of olive grove is one olive grove that has been implemented many years ago, more than 8 years ago, a given set of combination of sustainable management practices. And the other member of the pair is a conventional olive farms, a nearby conventional comparable olive farms in which has not implemented none of the element of this, let's say, set of combination of management practices. Here you can see, well, in the Sustainolive web page, you can have a single description of each of the 88 farms. And the 88 farms has been scored against an agroecological indicator that we have developed ourselves. Just as an example, in this figure you can see here, and only for Spain. In Spain we do have 12 pairs, that means 24 olive farms. Here you do have the 12 members of each pair in which have already implemented a given set of combination of management practice against this agroecological indicator. And here you do have the comparable non-STAs, farms that has not implemented none of this combination of management practice. Also, And in these 88 farms, in the 44 pairs of farms across the participant country, we are assessing many of the ecosystem services, some of which are shown in the slide, such as carbon balance and carbon footprint. We are analyzing for resistance and resilience to climate change, the production and olive oil quality, the nutrient recycling, nutrient retention, soil functional fertility, abiotic stress, soil erosion, and so on. Obviously, we are now in a stage of gathering and processing the information, so I cannot give you much more results. But for the case of Spain, I'm going to show you the kind of result we have obtained so far. Well, this is the soil organic matter. In green In green is the STA's farms. I mean, olive farms in which they have implemented long time ago this combination of sustainable management practice, and in orange is the comparable non-STAs. So typically, or mostly, soil organic matter was higher in these farms, what we did expect. So it was the stock of soil organic carbon, which here it is expressed as tons of carbon per hectare and the top 30 centimeters of soil. So there were significant differences in the amount of carbon, soil organic carbon, which was accumulating or sequestered in the soil. And more importantly, the higher was the differences between the members of each pair in this agroecological index, the higher was the amount of soil organic carbon which was accumulated in the STA farm. Soil functional activities. Here we use a complex index which are based on a combination of other indicators of soil activity. Indicators related to the recycling of phosphorus, nitrogen, carbon, and so on, such as soil enzymes activity, beta-glucosidase, the hydrogenase, basal respiration, etc. And if you can see, there is a clear tendency of higher soil activity, soil functional activity in those farms in which this different sets of combination of management practice has been applied for at least 8 years, at least compared with the conventional one. Soil erosion. Well, we had a mean reduction of 70% of the soil, which is lost by soil erosion in the STA's farm in red, compared with the comparable conventional ones. I'm sorry for this picture. This is a kind of result we are obtaining in the 88 olive farms across the participant country. This is the carbon balance. All these fluxes, we have measured all these fluxes. This is a result of one pair. This is the STA's farm, and this is the non-STA's farm. And basically what you can see here, that we do have a positive carbon balance, but mostly the carbon is stored in the tree biomass. The soil is also positive, but a relatively low amount of soil organic carbon. I can tell you it's very, very difficult, very hard to increase soil organic carbon in a relatively short time. Whereas in the conventional ones, the carbon balance, this is not carbon footprint. Obviously, we are analyzing carbon footprint. This is only carbon balance. And in the conventional one, carbon balance was clearly negative, and the system in the olive farm that is losing the carbon is the soil. About 1 ton of carbon per hectare and per year. In these 88 farms, we also are doing the socio-ecological metabolisms, the life cycle, and the socioeconomic assessment in each of the single 88 farms. I forgot to mention that the 88 farms include farms of 70 variety from the sea level to 1,000 meters above sea levels, tree olive growth with a tree density as low as 20, till olive growth in which the tree density is 1,400. We are including, obviously, traditional, semi-intensive, intensive, super intensive, and also some of them are organic, integrated production, conventional, etc. Because we wanted to, how can I tell you? We wanted to cover the whole diversity, pedoclimatic, landscape, and farm characteristics in this project. Obviously, there is a whole work package devoted to dissemination, communication, demonstration, and training, and activities include the production of booklets and newsletter, targeted to the olive farmer. You can download some of them in our web page. Obviously, we are in the social media, and we are producing a wide range of material for capacity building, addressed or targeted to the olive farm that they are in different languages. Now on is currently it is in Spanish, in English, and I think in Portuguese, and the other language depends on the partner of the respective countries. But most importantly, we are setting up, or we have already organized many training and demonstrative events. All of these has been, the partner who is in charge in organizing these events are the Olive Grove Association. They are the one who is organizing all these demonstrative and training events. And as far as I'm concerned, we have already organized about 22 face-to-face demonstrative and training events on how to cope, how to implement this combination of management practices, which are the pros, which are the cons. Regarding the bioeconomy that we learned this morning, there is also a whole work package devoted on what can we do with the bioproducts of the olive meal and the wastewater for agriculture purposes. So after an initial characterization of the main bioproduct of wastewater that we collect in the different points along the season, along the olive campaign, in each of the country, and this includes 2 phases, 3 phases, and traditional one we collect from Morocco and Tunisia. After an initial characterization of all of these byproducts and waste, we are doing composting. We are doing about 7 composting experiences, but the composting experiences are adapted to the local circumstance. That means that each of the partner who is doing some composting experiences has got some infrastructure problem. So the composting experiences have been adapted to each of the circumstances. We are using olive leaf that are accumulating in the olive meal to produce some kind of pellets to feed small ruminants. We are producing stable phenolic compounds extracts from the olive meal pomace. We are producing struvite from the wastewater. This is being done by IRTA, and also from the olive meal pomace, University of Jaén. And we are using the wastewater as a nutritive medium for growing microalgae with an added value. Finally, there is a whole work package devoted to identify the main barriers in the transmission of the information from the university and research center to the farmer in order to provide a set of recommendations, economic, politics, technical, in order to overcome these barriers. And also, we have designed a participatory platform in which all the farmers can share their knowledge through an app, a mobile app, a computer app, that now we are in a stage of testing it. We already have produced this app, and now we have offered that app to different farmers, and they are looking for mistakes and errors and so on. And this is what they wanted to talk about sustainability. So I fit quite well on time, and the idea of this was just, I am rather interested that you know sustainability, and at the beginning of the PowerPoint presentation, you can find my email address in order that you can reach me, and let's see how we can collaborate. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Roberto, for summarizing in those
Okay.
15 minutes such ambitious initiative with so many countries, so many key areas, and well, we will have time to talk about this sustainable olive initiative. Now, thank you all for being straight with the time. Now it's time for the audience, if there are questions. I see already 1, 2, and 3 over there, by this order.
Thank you. Jaime, I think you saved the best for last. I'm going to ask a question, and I hope the answer is what I expect it to be. The common audience here of the 3 projects are the farmers. Has there been discussion and collaboration between these 3 projects to bring it to the next level? Because I think the impact individually is great, but if you add them all together, it's going to be more than additive. It's going to be multiplicative. So how do you take it to the next level?
Well, I think this is your contribution. Because in these kind of workshops is where people can learn and show what the others are doing and exchange. But actually, I leave the question to the panelists if they are.
Well, in fact, the University of Jaén is in the 3 projects. So it's really important the role that the University of Jaén is playing. So I am pretty sure that we are going to find the way to collaborate, of course.
Okay.
Well, Olivares Vivos, Sustain Olive share some of the plots with Olivares Vivos. And not now, but at the end, when we have the results, we will try to connect them and to see the synergic. But yes, some of the Spanish farms are shared with Olivares Vivos.
Good. Okay. Next question we have there.
Hola, la voy a hacer en español porque
Can the speakers present themselves briefly when they make the question?
Okay. Teresa García, soy de la empresa de Olio. Mi pregunta la hago en español porque es para el señor José Eugenio. En el segundo programa live de Olivares Vivos ha dicho usted que hay más de 800 solicitudes. ¿Este proyecto se va a seguir centrando en Andalucía o hay alguna perspectiva de extenderlo a más regiones, en el caso de España o otros países de la cuenca mediterránea?
Sí, a ver, el segundo... Pues gracias por la pregunta. El segundo, a ver, las 800 solicitudes a las que me refería son solicitudes para certificarse ya, porque el sistema de certificación está listo. O sea, Olivares Vivos ya ha terminado con el primer live y ha conseguido ese esquema de certificación. Y el segundo proyecto live es precisamente para acelerar esa replicación en el resto de España, Italia, Grecia y Portugal. Ese es el objetivo principal de este segundo proyecto que ha empezado ahora, que como decía Jaime lo presentamos el jueves pasado en la sede del COI y que va a durar hasta 2026 para llevar Olivares Vivos a a estas regiones olivareras de esos países y la cuenca mediterránea. También va a servir para iniciar la transferencia a otros cultivos, empezando por los leñosos, el viñedo, el almendro, los cítricos. Y básicamente lo que vamos a hacer en ese proyecto es crear núcleos de replicación a través de olivares divulgativos en las comunidades de Castilla-La Mancha, Extremadura, Valencia, Cataluña, y también en Apulia, en la Toscana, en el Peloponeso, en Creta y en el Alentejo. Vamos a crear olivares divulgativos para utilizarlos como núcleos de expansión en esas zonas olivareras.
Gracias. We have third question over there.
Yeah.
No? Oh.
It's Olivares Vivo. It's a very interesting project, but in my opinion, it should be improved in terms of aims and objective, because one of the main problems that we have inside to the olive world is the reduction of biodiversity in the variety. Now, mainly in the new plantation, we have a very strong and dramatic reduction of the number of cultivars that remain still in production. That is a very, very big problem for the cultivation of olives around the world. And also this kind of objective to maintain and to preserve the old variety, but also the new variety, and also this aspect is biodiversity. And it is very, very important to focalize the attention also in this aspect, because the new plantation destroy the biodiversity, because you have just 2 or 3 cultivars that go around the world with the results very difficult in terms of quality of oil, in terms of capacity of the cultivation and other things like this.
I think, if you allow me, there are different projects for different aims, and we at least in the IOC, we run a intensive project to maintain biodiversity. We have international collections, a net of banks of germ plants to conserve the biodiversity in banks, but also in situ, in collections in the fields. But at the end, the farmers have the choice of what trees they choose, and I think we are talking about a different kind of life in the orchards, but this is my opinion. I also let José Eugenio to respond. Sí.
Sí, muy brevemente. Efectivamente, nosotros vamos más enfocados a la biodiversidad y sus servicios ecosistémicos. Es muy efectivamente conservar las variedades, es también conservar la biodiversidad, pero yo diría que de forma colateral, cuando nosotros contribuimos mediante ese valor añadido de biodiversidad, a hacer más rentable el olivar tradicional, también estamos apoyando esa conservación de variedades, porque son el olivar tradicional donde existe una mayor variabilidad en los cultivares, ¿no? Y en esas variedades de olivar.
Okay, thank you very much.
Y una pregunta al final.
Okay, last. The 2 last. No more. 2 last, 1 and 2.
Good evening, my name is Johnny Madge and I do olive oil tours, and I never take my tourists into dead olive groves. My tourists want to go into olive groves where there are birds, particularly plants that they can smell and maybe even eat. And so the idea that in the future there are going to be more and more of these olive groves where we can find this biodiversity, and also, as Dr. Servilli said, different kinds of olives that I can demonstrate to my tourists and other tourists in the rest of the world. I think that's very exciting. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias. Sandra Moreno, Clever Harvest. Voy a hacerlo en español y rápidamente en inglés también la traduzco. Agradezco muchísimo porque realmente tienes razón, Jaime, que al final fue lo mejor. Te lo guardaste. Sabías de qué iba el panel. Y agradezco muchísimo porque como que al final del día se resumen muy bien las ponencias y como que hablar de aceite de oliva y salud también va hacia la agroecología, hacia el cuidado de los suelos y hacia lo que decía antes el chico que habló sobre lo que necesita y quiere la gente. Entonces mi pregunta, tiene que ver con la respuesta que ustedes dijeron a la primera pregunta sobre que la Universidad de Jaén de alguna manera aglutinaba esos 3 proyectos, es decir, un medio académico, y la verdad que hasta ahora casi todas las ponencias son desde un medio académico, pero me preguntaba a Roberto y tal vez también a la persona que hablaba sobre Olivares Vivos, hasta dónde lo que ustedes, la información que manejan, hasta dónde bebe del saber tradicional y el saber campesino y el saber de los agricultores, ¿no? O sea, no solamente una información que viene de arriba para abajo, sino que se nutre también de la práctica de la agricultura, de la agroecología campesina durante tanto tiempo. So, briefly, my question is I mean, what extent, what are you saying, and that is really embedded in what, like from an academic point of view, and the University of Jaén is like linking these projects, but to what extent what you are talking about, agroecology and conservation of biodiversity, is like, it's feeding itself from the savoir-faire of the peasants, of the farmers, of the people that are in the farms, no? And that they have built that knowledge for years and years and years.
Unfortunately, well, I don't know if say unfortunately or fortunately, it's not black and white, but what you think about the peasant, ¿cómo es el campesino? Farmers, about the knowledge of the farmers in many other parts of the world, I think in South America, is quite different about here. If you talk to I'm talking not daily basis, but let's say week basis with farmers, because I am always searching for olive grove, and then I have to talk with them, etc. 50 years old over, they tell you, no, chemical fertilizer, tillage, no weeds, come on. And this is there. So it is, I don't know, maybe they have forgotten, but mainly they don't give you a cue. I know how it was managed olive grove in the past, because I do have I had the project with a historian, and then we saw records and reports and so on. But the most, at least in Andalusia, most of the farmers, they will give you, they will view information on please pesticide, please more chemical fertilizer, no weeds, please no weeds, how I can irrigate in an illegal way my olive grove and so on. Obviously, there are others, but they are the minority in which they want to see the olive grove as it was in the past, but they are the minority. Young people want to change, and mainly it is quite often they complain, Roberto, I want to change, but the olive mill will pay me the same price if I do complicate my life, knowing the nature and working with the nature, they will pay me the same. So I don't know what to do. What do I do? Sorry, I don't know if I did answer your question. I don't know.
Sí. Bueno, yo añadiría que el agricultor produce lo que le demanda la sociedad y se adapta rápidamente, ¿no? Si le pide bajos precios, va a hacer una agricultura de esa manera, y si le pide calidad, la va a hacer de otra. Pero respecto a lo que preguntabas ¿tenemos que recuperar conocimientos ancestrales? Yo creo que sí. A menudo nos dicen, pero entonces Olivares Vivos es volver a la agricultura del pasado. Y yo le digo, no, es tomar lo bueno que hay del pasado y actuar y utilizar también toda la tecnología y los conocimientos que tenemos. Y esto se resume muy bien en esas campañas escolar que nosotros hacemos en Olivares Vivos. Porque los niños no conocen el olivar y es una pena. Hacemos una unidad didáctica donde tratamos pues, la cultura, el medio ambiente, la agronomía del olivar, y la dirigen dos personajes. Uno es Olivio, se llama Olivio, es un niño que viene del pasado y que ha conocido pues, toda esa biodiversidad del olivar, todo ese canto, ese bullir de pájaros siempre en el olivar. Y el otro personaje es Achetuna, que es una aceituna ultramoderna que sueña con ser una ove gourmet, ¿no? Ellos hablan entre sí y al final la conclusión es que tenemos que aprovechar, hemos avanzado mucho en el tema del aceite, tenemos muy buenos aceites, pero hemos corrido demasiado y tenemos que recuperar pues, esa materia orgánica, tenemos que recuperar esa naturaleza trabajando a favor de nosotros y yo creo que ese es el futuro. Ya producimos los mejores aceites y los mejores AOVs del mundo, ahora el reto es producir los mejores aceites en los mejores olivares. Ahora ese es el reto.
Thank you very much. We have reached the time. I think the interpreters are exhausted, and I want to thank you them for this work. I think yes, interpreters. Also, fantastic public.
Yes.
After this whole day, and also fantastic speakers. For me, it's a great honor, and I feel happy to see how the sector is taking the leadership, is looking ahead, is facing the challenges in sustainability, biodiversity, plastic-free. They are not waiting to see what happens. They are taking this leadership, and I'm confident this is bring us together to a better future for the olive oil. Thank you for your work. Thank you for sharing, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.